Hey, what's going on? My name's Tim Williams. We are here to break down today's night slate, the 7 game, the main contest here on DraftKings. My name's Tim. If you're new to the channel, we've been breaking down these MLB slates. We'll go through the matchups here each game. We'll talk a little bit about weather, some batting versus pitching statistics. If you like baseball, if you like DFS, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and let's just dive right into this one. If you played last night, what a wild, crazy turn of events. That was a fun slate. Guys are putting up massive points. Shout out to anybody who rostered any Braves or Marlins batters last night. Starting out here with the Mariners Orioles, keep an eye on the weather in this one. 9.5 over under, which is very juicy for a slate like this. There is a possible rain out, so keep an eye there. Orioles favorited here. You got Dunn going against Harvey. Don't like either pitcher in this matchup, especially with that high implied total. Mariners looking pretty good, playing okay baseball, kind of in the middle of the pack here. However, they do strike out a ton. Don't like the matchup with Harvey, though. Orioles, they also strike out a ton. So this is just going to be, possibly just, home runs. Not a good pitching matchup here. In play for the Mariners side, Mitch Haniger continually getting that low price tag, 4K. I love that. Seager 4.8, France 4.2. He's got a lot of pop in his back. There's not a lot of value, but they look like a decent mini stack for sure. And then on the Orioles side, they're kind of priced up too. Mullins 4.3K, Mancini is 5.1. Santander is at 4.2, which isn't too bad. I wouldn't put too much stock in this game, however, with the possible rain out. Next, you have the Phillies and the Mets. Phillies favored here, 8 over under. Wheeler going against Peterson. Wheeler in a pretty good spot here. The Mets are hitting the ball very well, 11th in average, 3rd in on-base percentage. Don't pay too much attention to the home runs or, the strikeouts even. They played a few less games than a lot of other teams. Wheeler in a pretty good spot, though, at 8.4. I think that's a decent price tag for him. Peterson, I wouldn't go there at 7.1. Phillies hitting for average, 9th overall. So far, so good. I think the home run total will go up eventually. They do strike out, however. McCutchen, 3.7 at the top. I like him as just that catalyst on the team, the guy who's going to hit first in this lineup. Hoskins, good track record against Peterson, 4 for 5, 2 home runs at 4.8K salary. Rostering him under 5K, I think is pretty reasonable. If he gets any higher than that, I think it's a little risky. Harper, the clear spend up here at 5.4. Bohm at 4K, not bad. I could see a Philly stack here. And then on the Mets side, Conforto 3.3K for value. Smith at 4.2. McNeil at 3.3. I don't think I'm going to be paying up for any of these Mets today going against Wheeler, but there is some value on that side. Next, you have the Rangers and the Rays. 8.5 over under. Rays favored here. Arihara going against Fleming. I do like Fleming in general as a pitcher, but 8.2K is a little bit too pricey. On the Rangers side, definitely a stackable option here. You can see like what the Marlins did yesterday. You just never know. The variance in baseball is so high. But Gallo at 3.3K, Lau at 4. Dahl at 3 seems pretty reasonable and cheap. And then the guy they called up yesterday, Garcia, at the flat min price of 2K, isn't a bad punt option. And then on the Rays side, Meadows at 4.8K is the definite price, is the spend up option for sure. Lau at 4.6 is definitely in play. Margot at 3.6 is also in play. He'll definitely go low owned. If you somehow land on him, I don't think that's such a bad option. But the Rays, they need to kind of piece it together. I wouldn't trust going a full game stack here. They do strike out a ton, but definitely some options there. Tigers, Astros, the next game here, 8.5 over under. Astros favorited. You have Fuller going against McCullough. The Astros have been the chalk the last 2 matchups and have been disappointing for being one of the best offenses. As you can see, 4th in average, 6th in on-base percentage, 3rd in home runs, 27th overall in strikeouts. Definitely solid. Anyone really is in play here for the Astros. The Tigers had been playing some good baseball. They've been very chalky as well. They can't really do anything else but hit home runs, and they seem to like hitting home runs in this ballpark. If I was going to take any chances, it'd be on those, lower price guys like Mazzara at 2.1, Ramos at 3.3K at catcher. Definitely can fill your catcher needs. He will be highly owned though, but due at 3.6. On the other side, McCullers at 9.9, definitely probably the best spend up option, I think, in this night slate. He has the ability to strike guys out, and the Tigers do strike out ninth overall in the league. So McCullers in play here. Hitters for the Astros, I like Alvarez at 4.9. Tucker at 4.3 is pretty reasonably cheap. Brantley at 4.6. He put up a goose egg yesterday, but he's 5 for 12 against Fuller with a home run. Really the only guy with a big track record. But really anybody's in play here for the Astros. I would think maybe the ownership will be off them because of the last two nights. We'll see. AJ Hinch is the manager for the Tigers, so he knows the ins and outs of those Astros. So maybe that's what's been going on, and the Astros haven't been finding a lot of success. But I just don't buy in on the talent with Michael Fuller. Next, you have the Marlins and the Braves, 8 over under. Braves favorited here. Probably the best hitting conditions on this slate. Nieder going against Morton. Nieder, no interest there, but Morton at 7.6 is probably the lowest price that I'll pay for a pitcher on this slate. He's a decent option. Doesn't really have a lot of upside there, but the Marlins do strike out, 23rd in strikeouts. The Marlins average on base percentage shot up after yesterday's game. I think they were hovering around bottom of the league there, but now they're right in the middle. Options here, and I will say that the Marlins are probably going to be much higher owned than they should be because of yesterday's performance. But Duvall at 3.4K, Dickerson 3.1K, Cooper 3.1K, Anderson 3.7K. All of those guys have upside. On the Braves side, probably the best stack on this slate. I think it's pretty reasonable. I think you can get there with some of the punt options like in the outfield. But Acuna 6.1K, massive upside, huge ceiling. Freeman 5.4K. He's just been hitting home runs. Ozuna, very cheap, 4.2K, had a big game yesterday. Albies 4.7K. These guys are probably going to be high owned, so keep that in mind. It is a smaller slate though, so I don't think you can go wrong with stacking with the Braves and just going with the rest of the entries. But next we got the Indians White Sox, 7.5 implied total here. White Sox a little bit favorited in this game. It could go either way, to be honest. Plesac going against Rodon. This is going to be a pitcher's matchup, I think. Plesac's 9.7K. Maybe people will be off that. I think that's very interesting. Rodon at 8.9 is a little too pricey for me. The Indians aren't very good, but they can hit home runs. On the Indian side for hitting, I don't really like much value. I don't like much value at all in this game here. Luplow, very good against lefties at 3.7K. If he's leading off, I think that's an interesting option. On the White Sox side, everyone's just priced up, and going against Plesac, I don't think that's going to get you into the optimal winning lineup. Last but not least, you got the late night hammer game. You got Rockies against the Dodgers, 7.5 over under. Dodgers are favorited here. You got Gray going against May. Gray, 7.2 price tag is kind of intriguing. He's been pitching very well. However, he is facing the best offense in baseball currently. Dodgers coming in at first in average and in on-base percentage, 10th in home runs. They looked good last night. They don't strike out a lot, so I don't like this matchup for Gray at all. Dustin May, he's a guy who is just a consistent pitcher. He's a young guy. The strikeouts aren't really there, so that's a little bit risky for his price tag, but I think it's a fine option if you get there. Rockies side, I don't really like any value for them at all. I guess if you're paying up, it would be Story Blackman, 5.3, 5.1K. Both are kind of slumping a little bit, so I don't know if I trust that matchup, but it would definitely be very contrarian and be very different from the field. Say you're stacking like the Marlins or the Braves and you want to get a little bit different and you have salary, I don't think you could go wrong with it. It's definitely a little bit more risky, but no one's going to be doing it. So if one of those guys goes off, you're in a pretty good spot. And then on the Dodgers side, this offense is crazy good. You could, if you're doing a stack, it's very pricey, but if McKinstry's in there at 3K, that's solid. He'll probably hit in the 8 hole, and you can stack that like 8, 7, 8, 1, 2, whatever. But bets at the top, I think 5.7K is very reasonable. 5.5K for Seager's very, very reasonable. Muncy, Turner, both 5.2. Turner got the night off last night, so maybe he'll be fresh for today's matchup against Gray. We'll see. I mean, Gray throws a lot of fastballs, so we'll see how this matchup plays out. But yeah, I love the Braves in this one. I'm sure a lot of people will. Marlins or Astros might go low owned because of the last 2 performances, so I like them at home. Dodgers obviously look pretty solid as well. That's it. I hope you liked this little breakdown. My name's Tim Williams. If you like baseball, DFS, you're in the right spot. Like this video, subscribe. Really, really appreciate it. Been having a lot of fun doing these little breakdowns. It's been awesome. And some guys have been reaching out and winning some contests. So congratulations to everybody. Thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.